Next YouTube video is a music video. This one's gonna be Disturbed versus Linkin Park, two of the best rock bands. Now this is one that I wanted to do for quite some time now. Now Disturbed is a rock band that's from the city of Chicago, Illinois. They got their start in 1994. Yes, I have a script. The lead singer of this group is donegan. Yeah, funny last name. He's the lead singer. Now, in 94, they wanted to call the rock band The Crawl, but there was already a rock band that was called The Crawl. So, some big-time executive producer said, why don't you just call you guys Disturbed? And they weren't quite sure. So when they put that on their first studio album, it sold almost 100,000 copies, went double platinum, and it became a smash hit. And then when they decided to go mainstream, their second album was pretty good. But then when it got to their third album, the lead singer had a song called Sickness. Down with the sickness. Dun dun. Do you feel that? Dun 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 dun. Oh shit. Dun 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 dun. Someone the fuck get down with the sickness. Someone the fuck get down with the sickness. I can feel. You should know the lyrics of the rock song. Deal with these changes. It was such a powerful song. You could feel the emotion from the lead singer. It was like he was in your face telling you a story. Like he was going to say, sit down, I'm going to tell you this story, and I'm going to do it with some loud music, and you're going to love it. That's how impressive it was. Now, when he came in the game, they got greatly compared to other rock bands. Korn, Saliva, they were being greatly compared to those bands. And he came in with a fresh new sound that hadn't been heard in years. And then they got the one song to this very day that everyone plays in their car, their truck, their cell phone, their smartphone. And if you're a huge professional wrestling fan, you know what I'm talking about. Stone Cold Steve Austin. The Glass Shutter. Dun 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 dun. They do all of his theme songs. I remember when Stone Cold stunned someone, all of a sudden he comes out with a brand new song, 1996 on Monday Night Raw, after beating Jake the Snake Roberts in the King of the Ring. And all of a sudden he come out with this famous speech. Austin 316 says, I just whooped your ass. And next thing you know, he's got a brand new song with a rattlesnake on the t-shirt. Disturbed was the song that describes Stone Cold Steve Austin's character to the point where everyone was a fan of the rattlesnake. The Texas rattlesnake. And by the time we got to 2000s, when they done their fourth and their fifth album, they came with Indestructible, which I love that because you can hear the sirens in the background. Indestructible, nothing can send to every broken memory. It was like and the character that they had on the shirt, you could tell it was like, what if these guys were being featured in a music video for a horror movie? That's what it felt like. There's Warrior, which every time they make a war movie about Afghanistan, you could take that song and you could fit it into the movie story description and it will fit perfect. I'll turn this into a battlefield. I'm a warrior. Well, and you'll hear him come, 'cause I am the warrior. You can't defeat me, 'cause I am the warrior. And changing place and time. Doom, 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 doom. Those were some killer hits. I mean, this rock band, by the time we got to like 2011, they had now done like 6 albums. And their sound of music changed about 4 or 5 times. Now, They lost some members. They had some new members come in. You know how this always goes. Somebody want to do their own solo album, which the lead singer did. He did 2 solo albums of his own. His first one got, it did okay. It wasn't like the group album, but it did fairly okay. He put out a second album, and the second album featured other artists, and then these guys took a nosedive. There were some disputes with money and contracts, legal fees, and then these guys got back together, put out an album called Evolution. Like I said, everybody loves the name Evolution for some reason. And his creative vision was good because this guy could tell story, and he could adapt. Whatever was popular, he could do it. You wanted him to do alternative rock, heavy metal rock music, he would do it. You wanted him to take rock and pop, he would do it. He could take any style and adapt to it and make it his own. And he could come out with some unique sound. These guys were so good that these guys could go anywhere and people could recognize their music. He was good at telling the stories, and he loved taking depictions and basically twisting them. To him it didn't matter if it was horror, science fiction, anime, and to this very day, every time you play a video game or you look at a war movie, Disturbed does pop up in a lot of these movies with their songs. Yeah, so Disturbed is good like that, but Stone Cold's song is how everybody knows Disturbed. Didn't they take that song and remake it in 2002 with words? So that's how they got known. Now, Linkin Park is from Laguna Hills, California. They got their start in 1996. Now, they were like another version of Korn and Saliva. And at this time, the lead singer was Mike Shaligli, funny last name, and he was the lead singer of this group. And same story, him and another guy were singers. He went from being a backup singer to being the second singer, and then he went from being the second singer to the singer because the original guy that was there before him holed up the group for more money, wanted to be a solo act. After 2 or 3 successful albums, when they lost their original lead singer, he ended up becoming their lead singer, and he ended up being the guy that every time they cut a new song, you could hear him in the song. Like, their first album, their second album, I weren't really listening to Linkin Park as much, because I wasn't sure if they were going to be around. And it wasn't until they started doing the theme song for Transformers that I started to take notice of this group. Then they came with the one song that if you get into a fight with your girlfriend or your wife or you lost your best friend, you could relate to in the end. In the end, I had to lose it on the end. It doesn't even matter. I tried so hard to lose it all. In the end, it doesn't even matter. That song right there was a smash hit. Even when he came with Numb and then Somewhere I Belong. These were just hits. And then, of course, he hooked up with Jay-Z and crossed over. And this is like 2003, 2004. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel sorry for son. Girl problems. I feel bad for you, son. Girl, 99 problems with the ain't one. It's Linkin Park and Jay-Z. I'm like, what? And I didn't even notice that they were going to cross over. They crossed over. He went from just rock to producing his own music, to writing his own music, to being a rock star, to being a rapper. And all of a sudden he started cutting some rap music. All of a sudden he's doing rap videos with Lucifer Frasco. And I'm like, what? Linkin Park doing rap? What was going on? It's like they crossed over and gained acceptance. And then the Transformer movies. I mean, yeah, say what you will about those Transformer movies, they're terrible as hell. I mean, they are. But the music, you can't deny that. Every time you watch a trailer, the only time it makes you want to watch a Transformer movie is because Linkin Park keeps making these great songs for these movies, even though the movies are not all that quality good. That's what made me watch all 3 Transformer films is Linkin Park. Is they would always take the Linkin Park song and basically use that for the movie. And basically, Linkin Park has managed to survive 2 decades. They managed to put out 7 albums. They've managed to sell over 100 million copies worldwide. And these are guys from Laguna Hills. Nobody thought these guys in the beginning were going to ever survive. You know, it was the middle of the 1990s. They were taking a sound that was from the 80s. And people said, well, it's the 90s. We don't do 80s music no more. And they proved to their naysayers, skeptics, and critics that it don't matter to them if it's the 70s, the 80s, or the 90s. They will always be able to adapt. So in their prime, who's really better? I would probably say Disturbed surprised me because no matter whether it's the 90s, the 2000s, the late 2000s, they managed to always stay irrelevant. Linkin Park had a period where they dominated, and then they had a period where it felt like there were no music coming out, and then when music came out, it was like they got better. They took a break, and they came back better than ever before. But Disturbed, they seem to never take a break, and you would think that if you don't take a break, you would just crash. But it seemed like they would never take a break, and their music just kept getting better and better and better as far as quality is concerned. So in their prime, I would say by a slight edge, just by a slight margin, Disturbed.